Imagine this. You are sitting on your couch enjoying a quiet evening after a long shift. Suddenly, a heavy knock rattles your front door. Your heart skips a beat. You assume it's a neighbor or a delivery. You walk over, unlock the deadbolt, and open the door just a few inches to peek out. Standing there are two police officers. Before you can even ask, "How can I help you?" one officer takes a half step forward. He wedges his heavy tactical boot between your door and the frame. You instinctively try to push the door shut, but it bounces off his toe with a dull thud. The officer smiles humorlessly and says, "We just want to talk, sir. Why are you trying to close the door on me? Do you have something to hide?" Now you are trapped. You can't close the door without physically shoving a police officer. You can't walk away without leaving your home wide open to them. In that split second, you have lost control of your castle. This is not a rare accident. It is a common tactic called the threshold block. And if you don't know the Supreme Court rulings that protect that specific inch of floor space, you might just talk your way into handcuffs. My name is Sarah. I've spent over 15 years working in legal education, helping everyday people understand their constitutional rights and how the law works in real-world encounters with police. We will look at how the Fourth Amendment treats that threshold. We will meet a fictional character named Marcus who finds himself in this exact trap, and I will teach you the specific legal phrases that courts look for when determining if that officer just broke the law. Let's go to the story. Marcus is a 28-year-old graphic designer living in a rented duplex. It's 8:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. Marcus is not a criminal. He has a clean record, pays his taxes, and is currently boiling pasta for dinner. When the knock comes, he doesn't check his peephole. He just swings the door open. Officer Miller and Officer Johnson are standing on the porch. Officer Miller says, "Hey, we had a report of a noise complaint in the area. Mind if we come in and look around to make sure everything is okay?" Marcus hesitates. "And cooking dinner, everything is fine here." Marcus starts to swing the door shut. That is when Officer Miller plants his right boot firmly across the threshold. The door hits the boot. Marcus looks down at the boot, then up at the officer. "Officer, please move your foot," Marcus says nervously. Officer Miller replies, "Whoa, relax, stop resisting. We just need to check the apartment." Marcus is now terrified. He thinks if he pushes the door harder, he will be charged with assaulting an officer. So he steps back. The officers take this as an invitation and step inside. 10 minutes later, they find a small, legally questionable item on Marcus's coffee table that has nothing to do with a noise complaint. Marcus is arrested. Did the officers violate the Constitution? The answer lies in a concept called the firm line. In 1980, the United States Supreme Court decided a landmark case called Payton versus New York. The court wrote something very powerful. In terms of the Fourth Amendment, the home is first among equals. They declared that the physical entry of the house is the chief evil the Fourth Amendment was designed to prevent. The court drew a firm line at the entrance to the house. Generally, police officers cannot cross that line, not even with a toe, without a warrant, your consent, or an emergency. This brings us to our first key legal term, curtilage. Curtilage is the land immediately surrounding your house, like your front porch. Under a 2013 case called Florida versus Jardines, the Supreme Court ruled that police have an implied license to walk up to your door and knock, just like a Girl Scout or a mail carrier. But think about it. Would a Girl Scout shove her foot in your door to stop you from closing it? No. When the officer plants his foot, he has exceeded that implied license. Legally, that foot is a trespass. Technically, that foot constitutes a warrantless entry. But here's where Marcus messed up and where most people get it wrong. The moment Marcus stepped back and let them in, he may have given them consent. Courts often look at the totality of the circumstances. If you step back and open the door wider, a judge might say you voluntarily allowed them in, even if the foot was there first. So what should Marcus have done? Let's rewind the scenario. Scenario B. Marcus hears the knock. Instead of opening the door, he speaks through the closed door or uses a video doorbell. Marcus, who is it? Police? Police, open up. Marcus, I can hear you fine through the door. How can I help you? This is your strongest position. With the door closed, there is no gap for a foot to enter. The firm line of Peyton versus New York is physically sealed. But let's say you already opened the door. You made the mistake. The doors open a crack and you see the boot coming. Do not try to slam the door on the officer. I repeat, do not physically attack the boot. In many states, touching an officer, even with a door, can be charged as battery on law enforcement officer. It's a weak charge that might get dropped later, but it will get you arrested tonight. Instead, you must verbalize establishing the boundary. Here's a script you can use. Marcus stands his ground, keeps his hand on the door handle, and clearly says, "Officer, I do not consent to entry. I am closing my door now. Please remove your foot." If he refuses, you say it again, louder, for your phone recording or body cam. "I am ordering you to leave my property. Remove your foot so I can secure my home." If he still refuses, do not fight him. Step back but continue to narrate. "I am retreating into my home because you are forcing your way in. I am not consenting." This creates a legal record that the entry was forced, not voluntary. Now, we need to talk about the exceptions, because the police can kick your door in sometimes. The big legal term here is exigent circumstances. This means an emergency that requires immediate action. If the officers hear someone screaming for help inside, the Fourth Amendment allows them to enter to save a life. If they hear a toilet flushing repeatedly and believe you are destroying evidence, some courts allow entry to stop that destruction, though this is controversial after Kentucky versus King. Also, if they have an arrest warrant for you and they reasonably believe you're home, Peyton versus New York says they can come in to get you. But here's the catch. With arrest warrants, if they have a warrant for your friend Bob and Bob is just visiting you, they generally need a separate search warrant to come into your house to look for Bob. That's from a case called Stigald versus United States. So if they ask, "Is Bob here?" and you say, "I don't know," that doesn't give them the right to shove a foot in the door to look. Let's summarize the plain view doctrine as well. If you open the door wide and the officer sees a bag of cocaine on the table behind you, that's plain view. He now has probable cause to enter, arrest you, and seize the drugs. The firm line disappears because you exposed your home to his eyes. This is why we never open the door wide. So, what are the key takeaways to keep that boot out of your jam? Number 1, the safest door is a closed door. Talk through the wood, talk through the glass, or talk through the doorbell camera. There is no law that requires you to open your door for a knock and talk. Number 2, if you must open it, step outside and close the door behind you. Actually, wait, let me correct that. Some lawyers advise stepping out. However, in U.S. versus Santana, the Supreme Court held that standing in your open doorway is like standing in public. If you step out, they can detain you more easily. The best move? Stay inside, keep the door closed. Number 3, verbalize your non-consent. Silence can be interpreted as acquiescence. Say the words, "I do not consent to entry. Please leave." Number 4, record everything. If it's your word against the officer usually wins. If you have video of him jamming his foot into your door after you asked him to leave, a defense attorney can have a field day with that under Peyton. Remember, the Constitution is not a magic shield that physically stops a boot. It's a legal tool that works best when you understand how to wield it. Police rely on your awkwardness. They rely on your fear of being rude. They know that most people will just back up if they shove a foot in. Don't be most people. Be like a well-prepared Marcus from scenario B. Keep the door closed, know your rights, and never, ever let them cross that threshold without a warrant. If you found this breakdown helpful and you want to know what to do if they pull you over, make sure you're subscribed. Stay safe, stay educated, and hold the line.